Welcome to Raw and Real Real Estate with your host, Marisol Ortiz. Here, we cut through the noise and have honest conversations about the housing market. Each episode brings you real insights, stories, and perspectives from inside the industry, so you can better understand what's really happening in real estate today. Hey everyone, welcome back to Raw and Real Real Estate. I'm your host Marisol, and today is a special episode. Not only are we breaking down my bold predictions for the 2026 housing market, but this is also the final episode of season 1. Thank you all for listening, for supporting me, for sharing and showing up for this podcast. Let's get into it. Here's my prediction number 1 for 2026. I think interest rates are going to settle, but not in the way that most people think. People are still dreaming about the 2 and 3% interest rates that we had a few years ago. But based on updated forecasts from major mortgage and financial institutions like Fannie Mae, MBA, NAHREP, rates are actually expected to stabilize, not fall dramatically. And to be quite honest with you, I don't really know if we will ever be able to see 2s and 3s in our lifetime. The takeaway is 2026 is going to be the year that people stop waiting for that major drop. And I think they're going to start accepting more and more that this is just our new normal. I think I saw that happen the last year, maybe the last 2 years. But I think next year is really going to bring a lot of people into the market that finally are accepting that, like I said, this is our new norm. Here's my bold prediction number 2. I think more homeowners, like I said, are going to accept that the rates are not going to 3%. And that's going to mean that more listings are going to finally hit the market. But more inventory does not automatically mean that home prices are going to drop. Because in cities where you have, for example, high demand with maybe military population or just something in your city that brings an influx of people consistently, then we're likely to see steady or just slightly rising prices, not a crash. So the inventory is going to improve, but I think the market is still going to stay competitive. Bold prediction number 3, and this is probably not going to be a shocker to a lot of people, but if you live in a city where there's plenty of new construction, I think new construction is going to continue to outperform resale. Builders are just going to keep winning, and that's because builders can offer rate buy downs, closing costs, discounts, homes that are quick for a move-in, and that's because buyers are wanting affordability and builders can provide it. My bold prediction number 4 is that more buyers are just going to start getting creative with financing. I think this is a year when people stop trying to time the market and they start learning how to work with the market. I think a lot of information has been put out within the last year or 2 years that shares with buyers how they can, make a more affordable market for themselves. For example, with the use of temporary buy downs, like 2-1 buy downs, where the first year your mortgage is 2% lower than it would have been, and then the second year is 1%, and then years 3 to 30, for example, if you did a 30-year loan, years 3 to 30, the rate that is in the market right now. Or a permanent buy down where you actually pay upfront to have a lower interest rate for the life of your mortgage loan. Or ARM loans, which are adjustable rate mortgages, which the way those work is the first, let's say 5 or 10 years, you'll have a lower rate, and then after that time, your rate is going to adjust to whatever the market is at the moment. A lot of people get these in hopes that they can refinance before the market increases more. ideally, of course, they can refinance when the market is lower. There's down payment assistance programs and gifts from sellers or incentives. I think consumers are going to be very on top of getting seller incentives next year. And they're also going to be looking at how to refinance strategically in the future. Bold prediction number 5, sellers are going to need to actually prepare their homes again before going on the market. Gone are the days when you could just list anything and watch the offers roll in. I think that in 2026, pricing is going to become more crucial than ever, and the condition is really going to matter. Homes without upgrades are going to sit. Renovations, staging, curb appeal, all that is going to become very, very important. So, in summary, turnkey properties sell fast, and anything that is TLC is going to sit unless it's priced very well. Bold prediction number 6, foreclosures are going to rise, but not in a way where they create a crash. Because foreclosures are expected to increase, but again, not like in 2008 levels. And we have several reasons to believe that. Pandemic forbearance plans are going to fully expire. The adjustable rate loans of people that purchased in 2020 or 2022 are going to start resetting. And then homeowners with high consumer debt are going to be reaching their limits. Some people purchased at the peak payments and they might have a hard time sustaining them. So our foreclosure numbers are going to normalize, not collapse. We're going to return to those pre-COVID foreclosure numbers because for a while here, we actually were very low on foreclosures. For homeowners, this is a reminder to just stay on top of your finances and equity. Bold prediction number 7, Hispanic homeownership is going to become the driving force. Let's talk about a trend that does not get talked about enough. According to NAHREP's State of Hispanic Homeownership report, Hispanics accounted for 70% of U.S. homeownership growth over the last decade. The Hispanic homeownership rate has climbed to almost 50%. And here is a very interesting stat. Do you all know the median age of the first-time homebuyer in the United States? It's nearly 40 years old. But the median age of Latinos is 30 years old. Latinos represent the fastest growing segment of first-time homebuyers. So my prediction for 2026 is that Hispanic homeownership officially becomes a major economic engine in real estate. We can expect more young Hispanic families to buy, invest, and upgrade, especially in markets like Texas, California, Arizona, and New Mexico. And this wraps up season 1 of Raw and Real Real Estate. Thank you all so much again for listening, sharing, reviewing, and supporting my podcast all the way from episode 1 up to here. I launched this podcast with the goal of educating buyers, sellers, and anyone who wants to build wealth through real estate. And I'm actually very, very proud of every episode that made it into the season. If you enjoyed this episode or the entire season, share it with a friend, send me a DM, or email me with any questions you may want to cover in season 2. Until next time.